Hey everybody, I'm going to tell you a little bit what I've done on my bus the past couple days. So I've been playing around with the shift rod, so not the shifter that you're shifting with, but the rod that connects to the base of the shifter that goes all the way back to the back of the bus. So on those, there's a bunch of bushings, and so I've rebuilt those. Really cool deal. I'll post a link in the comments for the parts, but I've owned a lot of buses and I've never rebuilt those that shift rod bushing set. So there's a far rear bushing right before the transmission. There's a front bushing on that rod. Then there's like a coupler thing that holds the two rods together, and then there's a bushing these are all like plastic rubber bushing kind of things that the shift rod slides in and out of, and it's right by the shifter, so right down here by the shifter. So to do all that, you take the shifter apart, and it kind of is a two-person job, but I made my own tool and I made sure I labeled it, So here's my VWT1 shift rod holder. I'll be sure to save that. So press that up against underneath to hold the shift rod up so I can remount it. And I'll show you guys what I did there. So, yeah, I guess I need to lighten here, don't I? Maybe you can see that. So there's the shifter, and at the base there is all that has to come off, and that's where there is the couplers are underneath that. So you do all that underneath the bus. Really messy job. My coupler that connected the two shift rods was frozen, so I had to drill it out. I had to get a cutoff tool, like angle grinder, to cut it off. It was pretty bad. Well, I got it all put together, and then a lot of the play was gone out of the shifter. So that's what we all want. We want that to be smooth, but it would then fall into second pretty easily. And so I kept on playing around with the adjustment of the reverse lockout plate. This is underneath the shifter, between the body and the shifter base. So this keeps it from falling into reverse, that little lip there. And I'll post another video that'll compare the new one to the old one, and you can see the difference there. Mine is definitely worn, but that's okay because I got the new one, and the new one has another lip on it for even more protection there. So replaced that, got the adjustment right, and it's shifting great now. Love it. It's everything's where it should. All the gears are where they're supposed to be. But it is amazing. You see how these holes here, they're kind of oval shaped. There's a lot of space to adjust it. Well, it's really not a lot of space, but just any little movement makes such a big difference on how you shift. And this will improve shifting between gears. If you're grinding going into second, grinding going into third, something like that, this might be it. It's just simply an adjustment on that shift plate, or this reverse lockout plate, rather than it being something major like synchronizers on your transmission or something like that going out. So play around with that plate if you're grinding between gears, because it could be a cheap fix. These are $20. So yeah, you definitely want to do that. All right, so I'll post a link for the bushings and that reverse lockout plate, and you guys can see that. So I got this thing just about tip top. The next thing I'm doing is, since I put that bigger or that more powerful alternator on there, I'm going to put a fan pulley, and I'll talk about that next time. I should have that delivered in a couple days, and I'll show you that fan pulley. It moves a little bit of air, not a ton, but hey, anything's good. Anything's helpful to keep that from getting too hot. All right, y'all have a good one. All right, I want to show you guys what's different on these reverse lockout plates on Volkswagen shifters. Apparently these are the same in all air-cooled Volkswagens. So here's the original, and I'm getting some grinding between gears. I thought that was more related to synchronizers and stuff like that, but what I'm finding online is a lot of discussion about it being worn. You see that wear there? Being worn out reverse lockout plates. So this goes underneath the shifter. The new style, which is like Beastie Boys, you see there's an extra lip there. So the old ones don't have that, but the new style all has this. So this will be interesting. I'll see how that fits in there. I was having trouble getting it to where when I was shifting on the left hand, when I was going between first and third, it felt like it was more toward the middle of the shifting pattern, and if I went all the way left, I couldn't shift anywhere, and sometimes it'd fall in reverse without me pushing down. So Yeah, that's what I'm adjusting here, so we'll see. And these, just the tiniest adjustment on these when you place them can really change your shifting. So I'm gonna play around with it. We'll see what we get.